Today, I'm ridiculously excited to be interviewing the ethereal goddess herself, Miss Anne Ferris. I don't call anyone else in this world ethereal, by the way. You're like the only one. And
Thank you.
Anne is an amazing person, amazing human being, a mother, a warrior, very intuitive, an incredible brand builder. And her brand has so much heart, and anything she really touches comes through in this world in just a very unique way. So for me, it is both an honor and just something that I'm excited about to be able to be here with one of my dearest friends and someone I love and respect very, very much. So, Anne, welcome and thank you for taking the time to come on this live with me.
Thank you so much. Well, you know how much I love you, and Titan and all the things that you do are always so much fun. I'm like signed up for everything. So
I love
excited.
it. Okay, so for those who don't know your story, can you take us from the lawyer transition to entrepreneur, that whole kind of backstory? Because I think a lot of people will relate to all this.
Yeah. So after college, I moved to England and studied and didn't want to leave. So I became a lawyer. I also just didn't know what to do with my life. I like studying and I was good at it. And so I just kind of like said, oh, I think I'll be a lawyer. There was not a lot of thought put into it. And it turned out that really wasn't for me. Anyone who knows me, I'm always very touched when people are like, I can't believe you were a lawyer. I'm like, I know, right? And so one day I just had enough of working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I quit my job and moved to Costa Rica to the beach. And I was working in hospitality. I bought a small surf hostel, which was really fun in my early 30s, pre-kids party days. And then I got pregnant, had a baby, got pregnant again, and thought, I really wanted to be home with my kids. And a friend of mine posted something about Amazon, and I had never heard of it before. And I contacted him. He told me, and it was one of those things where there was just that moment of intuition that was like, you can do this. I was broke as a joke. I had to borrow money from my mom for the course of my first inventory order. And I was, I started my brand based on what was really relevant for me at the time, which was motherhood. And I knew I wanted to do something different. I really knew right from the beginning that I wanted to create a brand. And that was because I had been, are we having an echo or is everything okay with the
Oh, I
sound?
think it's fine.
Everything's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I followed Instagram, brands. It was this was in 2017. So when Instagram was like really getting popular. And I basically took inspiration from there and I ended up finding a really amazing supplier. I still use the same supplier. That's something I really want to talk about today because I think it's really relevant to how to really build a great brand and do it in an efficient and economical way. But yeah, so that took off faster than I ever thought it would. And it has also been really fun getting into the communities of e-commerce like Titan and going to the events. I went on the China Magic trip because e-commerce can be a little bit lonely when you're doing it at home by yourself, but it's so much fun to connect with people who are what everybody in this industry is doing is living life on their own terms. They took a leap, said, I'm going to do something different and I'm going to create the life I want. And when they do that successfully, they're so happy and they just want to share the joy with others. That's what's happening at every event, every mastermind. It's happy people wanting to help each other. Like that's what it is. And that's, Athena, really what you cultivate in your communities is people who want to give. And they don't want to give because they're getting something back. They don't want to give because they need something in return. They want to give because giving makes you happy. Like service is what life is all about.
I love that. And I think that you're right. And that's where you can get even deeper with those conversations. And I think that's where people really start to discover ways that they can improve, because they're not just going surface level. And thank you for pointing that out, Aaron, because that is like my life mission, is to create that environment.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue. I love the story so far.
Well, yeah, you know me. I don't like to go surface level with anything. So I am, I've been member of Titan since day one. I was like on the original webinar, like, Athena, take my money. I want to do this. And I'm kind of like the Titan therapist sometimes. But yeah, and I think I went to China Magic, which really was a turnaround, not just because of being at the trade show, but meeting my supplier, and then also the bonding and the masterminding and the content that happened. Like, I was thinking about China Magic at the gym. I have so much FOMO, and I've been waiting for it to come back. So I went to China in October 2019, like right before shit hit the fan. And I've been waiting for it to come back, and it just happened this year. I've spent 2 years in the US, or 2 months in the US, because I had a very sick family member and I just can't leave my kiddos again. But I was thinking about my FOMO at the gym, and that really, like, even if you didn't go to any of the trade shows, it's worth it. You are masterminding and networking for 12 days. Like, just the content is worth the price of admission. And staying at the Four Seasons. Like, my girl Athena likes her luxury. Like, always do a trip with her, because you're gonna be wined and dined in a very good way.
I love that. And your story from China Magic is one of my faves, babe. Can you tell them what happened from actually going there and connecting live?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have 12 days. Is it still 12 days? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have 12 days with a small group of people. You are going to make friends. This isn't that you go to a 2-day event with 3,000 people there. Like, there's a small group, and you're there for 12 days. So your relationships really deepen. Like, that is where I met Leiden and Dan. Essentially, I'd met them for like a day before. Kata, that was where Kata Phipps and I became really, she's like one of my best friends in the whole world now. And we met on that trip, and we had 12 days. By the end of the trip, we loved each other. And Kata's husband, Matt, is one of the leaders of the trip. And so you get all your questions answered. You learn things you didn't even know you need to learn. Going to the trade shows gives you so much inspiration. And I would say, so I'll talk about my supplier in a second, but there can be a lot of stigma, and I subscribe to this. I was like, how can I make my products in the US? There can be stigma around making products in China. What I learned going to the trade show is, like, all those eco-friendly, like, paper and bamboo straws, and the recyclable and biodegradable plates and stuff that everybody's using now. Who do you think came up with that idea? Who do you think makes it? The forefront of all of this eco-friendly technology in manufacturing is happening in China. That's where all this stuff is made. So these, this country, these people are really doing their best in every aspect to make things in a way that are better for the planet. And so that was really eye-opening to me. And the other thing was that I learned that I totally hadn't appreciated is they can do anything. So if you meet a supplier who's making, like some kind of plate that you really like, or a purse, for example. Okay, I really like this purse, but I want to make it in vegan leather. I want to make it in rPET, which is recycled plastic. Can you do that? Yes, I can. Can we add, this type of pocket? Can we add, an iPhone charging something or other? Yes, they can do anything. And so being there, I think your imagination and creativity explodes. And it's allowed me to do a lot more customization in my business, because I just realized this. Like, they'll do anything that you ask. And then the other thing that has been really profound, especially in this year for me, is I met Leiden, met my supplier with me, and they came, my supplier and his wife came, And we didn't negotiate any terms at that point. It was just like meeting each other. But for people, if you don't sell in China, if you don't source in China already, or if you're going to, the Chinese work very differently than Americans in business. It's actually very similar to Costa Rica, where I live. They treat you like family. It's a very close relationship. And if you keep them like it's very business-like, they will pull away from you. So using words, sending gifts, asking about family, kids, their health, what's going on, they really appreciate that. And I learned on that trip I talk about my business with my supplier as a partnership. And one thing that we did actually negotiate in China was exclusivity on my product in the US and in Europe. So that was a huge thing. I was his biggest seller, and I said, listen, if you sell to a bunch of other people, I'm going to go like this, and it's just like everybody's going to be doing less. Sell only to me, and I'll grow this brand. Trust me. And he said, I love your marketing. I love your brand. You grew faster than any of our other clients. And it was like, okay, let's grow this together. And so I talk about our work together as a partnership. I grow, you grow. And that this year has been especially meaningful because I know everyone who sells on Amazon or e-commerce, our margins are shrinking so fast. And even as an established seller, it's just, fees are so much higher. And so I was really honest with my supplier about this. And I was like, man, cash flow is starting to be a problem. Like, I'm not really sure how to get through this period. And he reduced my sales price, my cost of goods by 15% at a time when most people's cost of goods are going up. And on top of that, with shipping, he finds me cheaper shipping. I have two hacks that I'll get to in a second, and one is related to shipping. And he has given me, like, if I need to make a payment for a big order, Amazon pays us every 2 weeks. He'll let me delay by 2 weeks, or I pay, over time. And we kind of do that on a case by case based on how much money I have in my business account. And I tell him, I'm like, Larry, I need help this time. And he's so cool about it. And then also, because I learned in China that they can do anything, the days of copying what people are doing on Amazon are over. If that's what if you're thinking about getting into Amazon and just copying someone's product and selling it, don't bother. You will make no money. You have to do something unique. You have to do something with great branding. You have to be able to charge a premium price, because there are Chinese sellers all over Amazon now, and their prices are really low. So what can you do to increase your value, make it differentiate, and increase your perceived value through packaging? So I don't ever look at what brands on Amazon are doing. I look at what off Amazon brands are doing that I really like, that are charging premium prices. I'm like, oh my God, this is so expensive. Okay, why are people paying this much? How can I make something that's going to be worth as much as they're charging? Because people don't get it on Amazon.
I love that.
And literally what I do is I order samples from off Amazon brands, and I send them to my supplier and ask if he can make it. And if he can't, he has found, we're putting together some, it's like a packet that includes different products. He finds the suppliers for the other products. Now, he's Chinese. He can negotiate price. I mean, he gets this stuff for such a low price. So I really do, if you have a supplier that you've been working with for several years, you need to meet them and you need to continue to work with them. And the other thing is, if you're squeezed on cash flow, launching new products with your current supplier, they will be much nicer to you than a new supplier. Say, let me help you on the price. Let me delay, let me reduce the deposit or delay the final balance price. That is super helpful. And, when I send a sample to my supplier that I've gotten from an e-com brand, we talk about how we can make it unique and make it better together. And I think two little hacks that I'll share so everybody gets like some value from this live is these are both things to do if you know your supplier. If you've been working with them for more than a year and they're good and they like you, my supplier does my shipping. And because he does my shipping, they have some other really big companies that they sell to at Amazon. So he arranges the shipping. I get put into a container with his other products, but that container is full. So I'm shipping small amount because my products are small in a container that's full. So I get the really low sea shipping price because sea shipping is calculated by volume. So if you fill a whole container, you pay way less than if you fill one like 20th of a container. So he does that for me. On top of that, I don't have to deal with a freight forwarder or pay them. Like he gets way better rates. So I would ask your supplier if they can do that for you. And the other thing that I just discovered, I was telling Athena about this. I have too many products, like too many variations. I was getting really lost on inventory management because I was guessing, and I am not a data person. Like my team knows never send me a spreadsheet because I will have an anxiety breakdown. And so me trying to do, I would like write it on a piece of paper. I was trying to do my inventory and it was a mess. Then I hired someone. It was also a mess. Out of stock. I mean, being out of inventory is awful. And my different variations sell at different times. And I needed to lean out my team. So I fired him, let him go nicely. But I said, Larry, I'm struggling with stock. Do you think you could help me? And he was like, of course. Like, what? Amazing. So what I do is I give him access to my live inventory in Amazon. He can't see the money stuff. He can't make any changes. He just sees it. And once a month, I will send him the detail page inside of Amazon, like how much is being sold per month per unit, not the money, but the how many units. He knows the production time and the shipping time so well. And like, this is his job. He's so good at data and analytics and spreadsheets. So now I do nothing. And he's like, Anne, I think you're going to need some more of these. Like, let's do this. And he's even said, well, we only need a few of this color. I won't charge. We'll just start production and I won't charge you the deposit. And I'm like, great. And now my inventory is on lockdown. Larry looks at that shit every day.
Oh my God.
Why did I never do this before? Because inventory management is hard, but they're already doing their own inventory management, right? And he sends me, I have never been able to read anyone's spreadsheets. Larry sends me a sheet and like, I can understand it. Like, he is a spreadsheet whiz. So if you have a supplier that you really love, ask them to do your inventory. They will do it better than you.
Oh my God, I love it. And so, Anne, do you think you could have gotten that level of relationship via email and WeChat and Zoom?
No way. I think it's not just about the fact that you had the one-on-one time, which is also super valuable. It's the fact that you made the effort to come to China. The Chinese really appreciate TLC. They really appreciate you making an effort and going above and beyond. Like, honestly, it's so different working with the Chinese than I ever expected. They're so sweet. Like, his wife sends me silk scarves every year, New Year, like, and how much they want to help you. Like, it's really heartwarming. And I think, the title of this live was how to create a meaningful brand. I really think that we should not do this job or any job if we're not finding joy and fulfillment in what we're doing. And also, hopefully serving others. And one way that you can do this is by really investing in your relationships that you have with your staff and with your supplier. Like, it's a joy, Larry and I, it's a joy for us to talk to each other. And people who are on China Magic, who know their suppliers, like everybody would say the same. And I learned so much from Kian and from Leiden about this. And those guys, have so much experience, and that's their number one thing that they say is build the relationship, show them the effort that you're putting into it, which is awesome. And the other thing I will say, about creating a meaningful brand is I think that every brand should have a mission, or like I was going to say mission or purpose, but those are kind of things. Or at a minimum, be eco-friendly, right? Because we're doing this, like, let's put some good into the world, and that's going to give you fulfillment, and it's going to get you more sales. People love brands with a mission. If you look at every big brand in the world right now, they all have a really clearly defined how they want to serve in the world and what they give back. So customers love that. And eco-friendly, like, everybody's looking for that now. And a great thing about being in China, not just for sourcing your own products, is you can look at the packaging and how is this going to be packaged, and seeing it in person before you order it. Like, my first inventory order, I had a disaster with the boxes because I did the box design, but I just said this box. So they're going to use the cheapest paper. So it was arriving, and you're paying for the box, right? You're trying to do it because it'll look nice in a box, but it doesn't look nice if it's all broken and dented, and they just came looking awful. So if you're ever doing any kind of paper covering from anyone, make sure that you test it and you get one that's hard enough for Amazon. But now there's all kinds of really cool eco-friendly packaging, plastic sleeves that dissolve in that are biodegradable. You can get ones that have seeds in them. If you have a small product where they literally open the package, put it in some dirt, and like water it, and it will grow.
Okay, that is the cutest thing in the entire world. I love that.
Right? And how much your customer is going to appreciate that.
Yeah, and then another thing that I think is I love so much is some of these packages make things giftable and premium, but then you want to keep it. Like, it's some sort of a reusable tote or some sort of like thing that you can use as like an organizer. I love those as well, because then it adds the value, and it's almost like part of the product itself.
It adds value, and then on top of that, it's you're getting free, like, marketing. So that's something that I do with some of my products. Is after the box disaster, I think it was actually another Amazon brand was using they were using a reusable, like, drawstring bag, and I thought, let me make it with you can use it like as drawstring or as a little backpack so kids can play with it. So I put it in that, and then it comes, and my logo was on it with the website. People love that it comes in something reusable, and their kids can either put toys in it or they use it for their makeup. And then if they put their product in it when they're using it out and about. And then what happens is, like, they're remembering the brand, other people are seeing the brand, your stuff is just out there. So that's what I love about ethical marketing, like having a mission, and eco-friendly products, is it's a win-win. Like, you're doing something good for other people and for the planet, but you're also benefiting from that.
I love that so much, Anne. Am I frozen?
No, I see you.
Whatever, on my side I'm frozen, but that's okay. I can see your beautiful face. So there's a couple more things. Gosh, I could literally ask you questions for like all day, because I just love everything you stand for. I love the way your mind works. Connecting deeply with an audience. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So I've got it right here. I am really into Naval Ravikant right now. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, because he hasn't written a book, but he posts on, like, Twitter, and it's a compilation of his advice written, like, with his consent by this guide. It's called A Guide to Wealth and Happiness. And Naval is a superstar investor. He invested in Uber in Silicon Valley, uber wealthy guy, but also talks a lot about happiness and how to live a fulfilled life. And in business, what he talks about for building wealth is, what is your unique talent? What is the thing that you're passionate about, that you're good at, that you want to do in your free time? Maybe it was the thing that, you loved in kindergarten before the education system like stuck you in, another thing. Or maybe it's something that you're developing now in your later life in yourself, but what is your unique talent? And if you put your unique talent into the world, you will be successful. Like, that's just it. And so, right? It is. It's so lovely.
That honestly, that right there is probably something that I would love to just plaster like on billboards all over the world and be like, for all those unique, special children who feel out of place, for all the artists and entrepreneurs and dreamers out there that feel like they don't have a tribe. Like, if all they knew is that your unique, special talent could bring, happiness, purpose, wealth, impact, all of these things, and that it's not a disease. It's not that you're bad. It's just that you might not fit in. And the ones that don't fit in are usually the special ones like you. And they're the ones that can connect on a level I've never seen before. So sorry, you just touched upon sort of like my life mission is to find all of you and connect you and help you guys like find each other. And when you guys talk to each other, it literally brings me the most joy in the entire universe. So thank you for that, for mentioning that. I think I need to buy that book now.
Oh my God, no, it's so good. And you can read it really quickly, and you can go to the different areas. Like, I need some happiness today. And you go to like one of the little chapters. It's really easy to pick up and put down. And so, yeah, I think that's the thing. When in doing this business, your passion and authenticity is going to come through. People love authenticity. People do not connect with products. They connect with people. So if your goal is to build a brand and not just sell products, you have to find the way to connect with people. And my advice is to really do that authentically. And in my case, I started selling products that were made for mothers of new babies because that's who I was. And I had a period where I disconnected a little bit from my brand. As it got bigger and I hired more staff, and then I didn't have babies, I kind of pulled away. And I've been diving back in recently, and I just had to remind myself, like, I might not be in that stage right now, but why do I love mothers so much? What is the thing that I have to say that could help someone in my unique perspective? I think, that can be put into any type of brand. Like, you sell toilet paper, you can talk about like how important it is to like have regular bowel movements for your gut health, for your life.
Sure, why not?
Like self-care for your tush, like that is important, especially
you deserve
older.
it. You deserve the best.
You deserve it.
Yes.
And like, I tell you what, you pass your 40s and like gut health becomes really important. So you can love on your customers and connect with them no matter what it is that you're selling. And I think if you step back and take a moment to say, what do I love about this? Or what do I love, if it's not even thinking about your product, what do I love about the people that I'm serving? Because people really appreciate service, like being served too, receiving. And so if you come across authentically as, I want to help you, and I'm selling, and if you're making products that really help people, something Dean Graziosi says about marketing, it's not, people feel smarmy about like sales and marketing. And I felt weird about posting on social media, but it's, if you believe in the service that you're providing or the products, you're giving people a service. You're putting something in front of them that you think they need, that will benefit their life. So I think it's like a mindset shift. And if you get into that place of passion and creativity and drive and authenticity in your business, that is going to come across, and people are going to want to buy what you're selling because they're buying from you. They're not buying random stuff. And that's where make a real difference on Amazon if you can show who you are, what's your unique voice, what's your unique perspective, and show your love and care. Like that's what's going to set you apart. That's what means that your brand stays around for 10 years instead of selling until 15 other Chinese sellers jump on at half your price and then you're gone. You got to find a way to differentiate not only the product, but your brand. And the only way to differentiate a brand is to speak directly to people from like an authentic voice, in my opinion.
Amen, my girl.
Reach.
Amen. You literally just took it some other place, and I love it. And I love you, and I love everything about this conversation, because I think that that helps people to connect on a different level to what they're doing, and then that brings joy to the end user as well, you know.
Yeah.
And that's so important. You know, that new mother, I mean, your brand is so gorgeous. And, you know, I have some really dear friends of mine that like just love your products. And, you know, that beginning stage of motherhood is such a special time. I mean, my kids are so big now, and yours are still cute and little, but they're not babies anymore. And it goes by in a flash. You know, it's like the tiniest little period of all of our lives, because they're only babies for maybe what, I guess 2 years if you want to stretch it into toddler land. And so like that, you know, she sells these beautiful products to wear the bait, like they're just gorgeous. Is it okay to tell them your brand, babe, or are you?
Yeah, I don't care.
Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, so and that was another thing too. I had a more generic brand name when I first started, and then I changed the name to make it after my family. So it's about my kids. My brand is Nalakai. And I show up, and I know people don't like having their pictures taken, and you don't like, you know, but if I think it's so useful to show up. I will tell you, like, honestly, I had been struggling with engagement on Instagram, and there were pictures, you know, I have been posting because I don't have little kids anymore. And it was pictures of other people, but they're beautiful photos, you know, wearing my products. And I posted the other day because it came up in my Facebook feed the first time I ever wore my daughter. And she was 5 days old, and her first outing was in one of my carriers at this farmer's market. And I said, you know, wow, this was the first time that she left the house. And this was in my first sample. Like it didn't even have my branding. And I kind of told the story of how I received that sample. And I just knew that this was the way forward, like, and how meaningful it's been creating this brand for me. And I always think people don't read the captions on Instagram. It was literally like 700x what I get on engagement on my usual post. So I think showing up is really important. And I just think your story. So like now my life has kind of changed, and my interests are in women and embodiment and self-love and how we feel like our real true sense of self and self-confidence in our bodies. And I started feeling that, and a magical business partner with a magical product idea came into my life. She had an idea for a product. I was like, I had the idea for the brand, and we just magically like came together. But these products, you can sell them. They're, you know, you can sell them in one way that's just putting them out there, and then they're not super unique. They're not so different to what anyone else is selling. But my thing was, oh my gosh, this can be, you know, we can put it out there in the way of this is how you connect with yourself, learn to love your whole body, all of this brand story about what it means to be a woman who is, you know, growing and using these types of products. And that is what makes it unique. And every single person that I talk to about this brand is like, oh my God, that is amazing. Sign me up. I love it. Including some like, you know, $100 million e-commerce people that I've told are like, oh my God, you have to do this. And so it really is around the story that you create. That for me is a real story. I'm not like faking my interest in the brand story around the products, right? And I just think it's so much more fun that way. And so if you want to go to China and you're not even sure what products you want to launch, or you're starting a new brand, or you're just starting in general, I think a great way is like think about what you love or who you love, like who you would love to serve, and write down some of those emotional things that are important to you. And then you go and you look in your need and you find products that fit into that passion. And I'm telling you, you can find anything. Canton Fair and Global Sources, you can find anything you're looking for and way better and 37,000 options, you know. So if you have the story in mind, you find the products to fit the story rather than making a story around a product that you think is going to sell. If it's meaningful to you, it will be meaningful to other people.
Oh, God, thank you, Anne. That was perfect and
I really want to go to
and
Canada.
gorgeous. I know. It's just it's so fun. And I really, what you said about Kian and Leiden is true. It's like going on your own wouldn't be the same, because even though like you're beautiful at connecting with humans, you're probably one of the people I know that can connect with humans on a deeper level, but there's still a lot to know about like the actual going to China, what it takes, maneuvering the place. Jennifer from the UK, she's very well traveled. She's a multi seven-figure seller. She went there and she stayed at a hotel without a mattress. And poor thing was eating McDonald's French fries every day because she just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
So it sounds silly, but like, just being there together, I think was a beautiful experience. So I can't wait for China Magic. I can't wait. And I can't wait till you can come back with us, maybe in April. That would be amazing.
I know. I maybe in April. Like, sign me up as a mentor, and I'll definitely go.
Of course I am. You could do a whole session about connecting on this level. I think that people would love that. You know what I mean? And also, I think one of the important things is when you're in Titan or you're in China Magic, different people have those different talents, like you mentioned, right? So, like, some people are more creative. They're really good at the human element. Some people are very good with the numbers and they're very good with other things. And I think that if you have a space where people can be themselves and they can really self-discover like what they're best at, we intentionally connect people so that they can kind of help each other. You know what I mean? And you could help them be inspired, and maybe they could help you with those damn spreadsheets. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really nice to have like that combo of human beings and to be able to kind of expose them to everyone's talent. So Anne, you are a flipping goddess, and I just love you. Just even our little chats sometimes are so inspiring and fun, and you have an energy and a spirit that is really, really beautiful. So thank you for everything. Thanks for the inspiration. Oh my God, I got like emotional about it. Just because I think a big purpose for me is to connect people with people like you, and people like Kian and people like, all these amazing people, because they all do have these really extraordinary talents. And when you're able to kind of go like this, then magical things happen, which translates into being able to live in Costa Rica around the monkeys and give your two beautiful babies a life that's like from a dream. And that happens because of your entrepreneurial spirit, which I think is gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I really want to say, like, it's honestly that I have been to a lot of events and I have done a lot of things and I've spoken at events, and China Magic is just by far of any like event. China Magic is by far the best value. Like, you just don't understand what you're getting out of it, because it is going to the show is amazing. Having people explain to you how to talk to people, where things are, because it's a city. The Canton Fair is like bigger, way bigger than the city that I live in right now. Like, it's huge. And then you have a chance, like, even without any of that stuff, to mastermind with this level of people for 12 days. And like, people would pay $100,000 for that. Literally, like, I actually mean that happens, right? And you do get so close. Like, Keenan and I are really good friends now. And it was on China that we got it, we knew each other, but we got a chance to really deepen our friendship. And it was, because we were going, I wasn't just, hey, Keenan, what about this? Tell me this, find me this product. It was, there was give and take and back and forth. But masterminding, the content is insane. You're there looking at the fair, and then you have content after. And when you go to the fair and you come back with 200 business cards on the first day and like 30 or 50 products in your hands, like giant bags, and you're like, I don't know what to do. I think it really helps to take the overwhelm. And also, by yourself, like, do not worry. People became such good friends. At the last event, ecom event that I was at, Sadie was there, and you put me and Sadie together. She was my roommate. We totally became besties, and on a personal level, she really helped me. She and my ex and I, the father of my kids, were kind of struggling not to argue, and I was really trying to find a way through that. And she would call with her husband every night, and they were so sweet to each other. It was the cutest thing, and it really helped. It was just one of those things that really helped me in that moment. We see each other 4 years later and are hugging and talking about our brands, and so.
Oh, I love that.
Now I
Well,
really want to go to China.
I know. I can't wait. And yes, the events that we do are really special. I think it's the quality of the human, because anyone can rent out a big hotel space anywhere, right? Like that's, you just sign a contract, you get a hotel. There's the type of human being that we've been able to sort of attract as a group. Just nothing like it. Nothing like it. And I'm just so proud. So thank you, gorgeous. Thank you for everything you do again. And yeah, for any of you guys who want to come to China, go to ChinaMagicTrip.com, and then we'll have a chat. Like, we don't have a sales page where you can just put your credit card in and come to China Magic. We actually do an interview and find out about you and your goals and make sure that this is a good fit. And if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. I actually told a guy today it's not a good fit because he didn't have a good vibe. Like, he really didn't have a good vibe. And I couldn't imagine putting that guy in my perfect, amazing world full of, these wonderful humans. And I said, thank you so much for your application, but it just didn't feel like a good vibe. And it's better to like lose that one rotten apple and keep your perfect barrel. So this is hand selected, very high quality human beings who are on a mission to find products that are going to help them achieve beautiful things. And then, like you got to a certain level of success, and now you're giving back to society by telling them your story and explaining how to connect. And it's just my favorite thing in the whole world. So thank you, darling. Thank you again. We'll do more of these. I freaking love these. I think we need to do more things and talk to people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, I'm going to do one in my women's group too. I think it'd be really fun to have you on and just talk to the women. We can have like some, we get like very raw when it's just women. Don't worry.
Well, you know me, Athena. I'll definitely get down and dirty with some ladies.
Yes, girl. Yes, I love it. Well, thank you again, babe. You're amazing. Mwah. And until next time, guys, we're gonna have more of these lives, bringing through magical humans as we do. So thanks again. I adore you, and I will see you soon. And I don't actually know how to end this thing. Let's see. Up, and it's here.